Hello, my dear students. It's my pleasure to teach you today. Our lesson is for grade 11 students, composition. I will be with you right after the break. Welcome back, my dear students. As I told you, we will be dealing with composition today. Now, the writing task consists of two things: semi-related topics and argumentative analytic topics. What is the analytic topics? They're stating an opinion and chart analysis. Stating an opinion is when you give your own opinion, right? For example, road accidents can be a serious disaster. Write your opinion in not less than 8 sentences and in about 80 words. I want you to write about road accidents. What do you think you can write? What ideas can you give me? Okay. Yes, we can write some of the what? Causes of road accidents. Good. The causes of road accidents. What else? We have causes and, okay, the consequences of road accidents. Okay, now we have causes and consequences. Don't you think you will give something like an advice? Yes, suggestions? Suggestions for avoiding road accidents. These are the ideas I would like you to write about. When they give you a heading such as road accidents, you should write some of them. Now, another thing is the chart analysis, which we will be going through one of them. We have different types of charts such as pie charts, tables, and bar charts. For example, what do you think this is? It's a pie chart. Well done. And this one? Yes, it's a bar chart. What about this one? It is a bar chart, correct. Now, look at this bar chart. What do you see? First thing in a chart, try to look at the sides. Look at the numbers. Look at the bars. What are they presenting? Mode of transport, percentage of commuters, years. Now, first thing, when you begin your report about the chart, first thing is that you have to write what it tells you. Begin your sentence with this chart reveals or it shows, compares or demonstrates. In the second paragraph, you will give a little bit more details. The data suggest, represent, appear, provide. And then in the last paragraph, it's conclusion. But before we go through the conclusion, we can mention some of the prepositions in the body. For example, between 1995 to 2000. Or in other words, we can change our words. We can say from 1995 to 2000. Another one is sales. For example, if the chart is talking about sales, we can say sales rose to or from 200 to 250. In other words, we can just change the word from rose to fell if there is a decrease. Sales fell to 150 in March. Or the last example, sales fell by 50%. In this paragraph, you should give a lot of details. Now, in the conclusion, it's what? It can be clearly be seen, increased, decreased, gradually. It's an overall of what you have seen from the chart. Now, there are some adverbs and intensifiers which we can use when you write a chart. For example, slightly, suddenly, a little, steadily, a lot, gently, sharply, all of these words can be used. I hope you are taking notes. Now, figures began to decline. Do you know what's decline? It's dropped. Throughout, higher, than, whereas, approximately, slightly, more than, reflecting, has been, expected. Now, by the arrow, we have movements, verbs, which goes up. Words such as rose, went up, increased, grew, shot up, surged, and rocketed. These verbs, they all have the same meaning. They all mean to move up, go up, increased, which you can be using in different sentences. Now, moving or movement verbs which goes down. We can use fell, declined, dropped, decreased, sank, went down, and plunged. So, students, over here, when you want to write any sentence and you want to use some of these verbs so that you do not repeat, for example, oh, the sales fell, and then you again repeat the same word fell. So over here you have a variety of verbs which you can use. Okay, now we've gone through the verbs which goes up and the verbs which go down. What if there are no movement or no change? What verbs do we use? Remained steady, were unchanged, remained constant, remained stable, did not change, and stabilized. We have tops and bottoms. Look at the words over here. When we say peak, what do we mean by peak? Peak means the highest. So it is reached a peak, reached their highest level, fell to a low, reached a bottom. Let's do an example together. Look at this chart. We have a question, which is the graph below shows the different modes of transport used to travel to and from work in London in the years 1960, 1980, and 2000. So over here they told you what the chart is telling you, right? They want you to write about 8 sentences, describe the information in the chart below, showing the means of transport mostly used in London and which means of transport increased by time. Let's look at the chart together. What do you see? We have means of transport below. What are the different transports? We have train, buses, cars, tubes, correct? And we have percentage of commuters. What is the meaning of commuters? It means when someone or the people are traveling from place to place or going from one place to another. And we have 3 different years, which are 1960, 1980, and 2000. So, in the first paragraph, as you can see, it's an introduction. So, we begin our sentence by saying, the chart reveals the different percentage of commuters in London between the years of 1960 and 2000. It looks at the percentages of 4 different means of transportation in London. You can mention them if you want. You can say they are train, cars, tubes, and buses. What is tubes? Do you know what the meaning of tube is? It's like the underground train. Of course, we don't have it in Kuwait, but in London, they use it. Now, we have finished the introduction. What comes after the introduction? Yes, the body comes after the introduction. Over here, we will give some details, such as the transportation used is train, car, tube, and bus. Between 1960 to 2000, the percentage increased slightly with trains. You can see that I'm doing some comparison, right? In 1960, the cars were not used a lot. They had the least percentage. However, buses reached a peak of 39%, which was the highest. In 1980, 28% used trains for transportation. You can add if you would like to, okay? Now, look at the chart again and try to give me a conclusion. What do you see as an overall? Look at the car, it increased, right? There is no different or changes. It's moving upwards. What about the bus? Is it the same as the tube and the train? Is it going in one direction or is it moving? It's going in one direction and it's going down. So a word which we use, what verb? Decrease, fell. Very good. So our conclusion, it can be clearly seen that the use of cars has increased, whereas the use of buses has dropped throughout this period. We can expect that the use of cars will even double in the coming few years. So, in a conclusion, we give something as an overall, and we can also give something that can tell us what's going to happen. Okay, but there is no advice in it because it's a chart. Now, we will move on to another type of report, which is stating an opinion. Road accidents can be a serious disaster. Write your opinion in not less than 8 sentences and in about 80 words. Remember the ideas we've mentioned before? Okay, yes, the causes of road accidents and the consequences of road accidents. And what else? What was the third thing? Yes, suggestions for avoiding road accidents. Think about the ideas a little bit. Think about the causes, consequences, and suggestions. Okay. Now, an essay should include 3 parts. What are they? Introduction, body, and conclusion. The introduction section. What is the introduction section? It is extremely important, and it gives the reader the first impression of the text. What does it have? The introduction includes 3 parts. The first part is, it introduces the topic. And the second part is, it states why the topic is important. Third thing, states that there is a difference of opinion about this topic. Now, in the body, you know that there are a lot of details, correct? Then, finally, after the body, we have conclusion. What is a conclusion? It closes the essay and it has a summary of your thoughts, demonstrate the importance of your ideas, and to guide your reader to a new view of the subject. A conclusion has two parts. What do you think the two parts are? First one presents one or two general sentences which accurately summarize your arguments, which support the main argument. So you can write one or two general sentences. Our second part in a conclusion is what? Okay, we can write an advice or a suggestion regarding the topic. Any advice you have in mind? For example, in the road accidents, you have to give an advice, a suggestion. Now, before we begin our composition, we have to write and brainstorm our minds, right? We have to make an outline. In the outline, we have an introduction, body, and conclusion. Let's read together. Road accidents are a serious problem in our modern life, increasing dramatically in our age. Now, in the body, we have to write the ideas we've mentioned earlier. What are they? The causes of road accidents. Let's read together. The main causes of road accidents: overspeeding, neglecting driving rules and laws. In the conclusion, as we have mentioned, we have to sum up, right? And you can also give an advice as well. Road accidents have become our major fear. The solution of the problem: imposing heavy punishment. These are the short sentences which you will be writing in more detail when you write your report or essay. Now, let's have a look at the introduction. After we have finished our outline, we have to write the first paragraph. Don't forget you have to indent. Now, try reading the first sentence. Road accidents have become one of the most common and hazardous aspects of our modern life. You see that in the beginning, first sentence, when we write an introduction, it has to have a general idea. Second sentence, they have increased dramatically in our age as a genuine problem in our society. It has some causes and results. There are also some possible solutions that can root it out, as I'm going to show. What comes next after the introduction? Yes, the body. Over here, we will mention in full details the causes, right? Let's read together. Road accidents lie beneath some main hazardous causes. First and foremost, overspeeding surely leads to road accidents. Moreover, driving carelessly leads directly to accidents. Also, most drivers nowadays less respect driving rules and laws, as the punishment is not severe enough to make them drive carefully. Look at the words I'm using here to connect the sentences. We have sequence words such as first, moreover, also, in addition. Use them to connect your sentences. In addition, there are fewer policemen on roads to ensure that drivers respect and follow these rules and laws. Finally, we need to say that driving licenses are given to a number of young men who are rash and reckless, which leads to road accidents in the end. So you can see here that we have mentioned more than one cause of road accidents. What do you see over here? We have some signs, right? Speed limit, don't use your mobile phones, correct? So what do you think they are? They are advices, right? So our final paragraph is the conclusion. In the end, I'd like to say that road accidents have become our major fear on roads, but its solutions is in hand if we cooperate and make serious decisions. We have to say that the media must help spread personal awareness of such grave problems in our lives through the supportive programs. Then, what advice would you suggest? Let's have a look. Heavy punishment must be imposed to ensure that drivers on roads respect the laws and follow them. Do you think there should be a punishment? Yes. Okay. Now, let's have a look at some of the writing tips. You need to pay attention to the following: exposition of ideas, paragraphing, and number of sentences. Pre-writing techniques, which is brainstorming and mapping, outlining. Third thing is spelling and structure, or sentence construction. Finally, the handwriting, spacing, and punctuation. As you can see, we have come to an end in our episode today. We've gone through the charts and how to write an essay. I hope you have benefited from our lesson. I hope to see you again, and have a nice day. Thank you.